こんにちは、シライミュージックの白井利光です。今回ご紹介するのはこちら、ですね、人です。エヴァンスをはじめ、ダダリオ、という、グループ、いろんなダダリオっていう楽器の会社がありまして、でそこのエヴァンスや、プロマークっていう打楽器関係のブランドの、開発責任者みたいな、方で、ディック・マーカスさんお招きして、で今回エヴァンスのですね、商品の、いろんな、ツイッターで皆様にいただいた質問とか、新しい製品の説明とかしてもらおうと思います。では、ディックさんに、質問してみますね。
Thank you for letting me come here and work with you, talk with your customers, talk with your world. I've been in the percussion business since before electricity. So I've been doing this a long time, and I've worked with Peisty, LP. I worked with Remo for almost 10 years. I ran Mapex USA for 5 years and helped friends from Belgium set up a distribution company many years ago. I've worked closely with Rick Drum, who's the president of D'Addario. We work together at Remo, and we know how each other works. We travel together, etc. My position at D'Addario when I came on a couple years ago was as brand manager for all the brands. We've grown and grown, and what I'm doing now is I'm sort of the advocate for the company. So I'm business development, which means I travel around the world speaking with people like you, with key stores, with our distributors. I do a lot of public presentations at trade shows, consumer shows, just hanging with drummers at recording studios. I am a drummer. I have a long history of both drums and percussion, so I have a passion for this. So this is not work. This is fun. This is pleasure. That's me.
はい。では、ツイッターでいただいている、質問ですね。まずですね、ちょっとかなりもういきなりマニアックな質問なんですけれども、エヴァンスのフィルムですね、ヘッドに使っているフィルム。このフィルムをどういうふうに使っているかっていう、この他の会社と違うエヴァンスのフィルムの使い方の特徴を教えてくださいという質問がありました。ではちょっと聞いてみようと思います。
The film, which is polyester, we buy it from 4 different vendors because we want different characteristics, acoustic characteristics from the film, and it's all about the film. So, simply put, film starts out as a mass of polyester, and the suppliers for us, they have these big machines that pull it and stretch it. So the polyester film develops a grain, almost like a natural grain or wood, a direction. It has a direction. Unlike a natural grain, it's not mixed, it's very straight. And our film providers, as they're making the film, they use lasers to check the millimeter, so everything is consistent, that the head isn't thin or thick or thin. It's always the same millimeter. So we receive the film of specific mil thickness at our factory, excuse me, and we use polarized lenses to make sure we see the direction of the film, which is very important in our manufacturing. So we have these great big rolls, which can be 5,000 or 10,000 or even 20,000 feet long. And we run them through our manufacturing process. We have a machine that cuts the discs. And each disc has a little mark on it, so we know which direction the film is going. So this is important to us because some of our heads are 2-ply heads and our timpani heads. But with our 2-ply heads, some of them we want the film going the same direction on both layers. That gives a little more of a live sound. Some of our 2-ply heads, like our marching tenors and EC2, the film is slightly off direction, which gives the sound a little more control, a little shorter. It also gives the head a little more strength. Even though it's invisible to the eye, it is there. And it's important for timpanists, because timpanists forever are used to looking for a grain and a direction. So on our timpani heads, we have a little line. So the timpanist knows which direction the grain is going, because they want to set the head such that the grain is going towards the audience and they have what they would call a sweet spot within the head. In the old calf heads for timpani, this was the backbone, the spine of the animal, and as you got closer to the edge, it was thinner. Even though plastic heads are all the same thickness, the timpanists, they're used to that, they're comfortable with that. So our films in general, they're a clear or slightly hazy film, specifically to our requirements from what is available. That's very important, what is available in the marketplace. We have clear films. We will have special films like this, a black film, which is this is a new black film. And we don't buy this just because it's black, but this particular film has specific sound characteristics, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But we have different kinds of black film for different applications, because film, as it moves, the frequencies generated are specific. We take heads that we will coat or paint, and again, there's specific paints in working with our paint vendors that have to adhere properly, have to take a lot of abuse, and also will apply very evenly across the head, so the head itself is still in tune with itself. So in addition to coatings we might put on a head, paints, different films, different layers, we also, for a specific head, like our EC2S, which is a 2-ply head, we have a giant inkjet printer, and we will print on the head with a very high carbon black ink a ring on the outside area of the head. What this does is mass load the head by putting weight on it, so it slows this portion of the head from moving. It doesn't stop it, it slows it down, so it in itself will stop sooner. So the result for you or me as a player is a drum head that has a little bit of a shorter, more controlled sound. That's why it's called EC, for edge control, and it tends to emphasize the mid-range and the low range. And then finally, we also work with specialty fibers. And the fibers we use are called aramid fiber, and they're used in sailcloth, they're used in vests, strong, high tensile strength fabrics. We will use these heads for our marching drums, in which a material like this with another layer of clear polyester is used for very high-pitched snare drums, for drum corps and the like. They go up to 6,000 pounds, 7,000 pounds per square inch. That's how tight they make them. We also have that head material that we use without the coating as a drum set head, and we'll talk about that a little bit later.